And we're kicking off today with Logan Paul, who yet again gave another impressive performance in the ring at Money in the Bank. Unfortunately for the Maverick, his quest to earn himself a title shot was fruitless, but it won't be long before he's back in the ring. When Ringside News asked around about upcoming plans for Paul, they said that there are plans for him to compete at SummerSlam, and we even know who he'll reportedly be facing. Sources revealed that the plan is for Paul to face Ricochet at next month's premium live event, with their work at the Money in the Bank ladder match being seen as the start of their feud. Fans may remember that these two had an epic spot during this year's Men's Royal Rumble match, which will likely be referenced as part of their upcoming feud. This isn't the only match in the works for SummerSlam, with sources adding that undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns will be defending at the event against Jey Uso. As previously reported, Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes are set to face off next month in Detroit, while Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch are set to go one-on-one at the event. WWE Women's Universal Champion Asuka is also rumored to be competing at the event, where she'll be defending her title against Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. SummerSlam 2023 is already shaping up to be a major show, and what do you think to the Ricochet-Logan Paul feud? Let us know in the comments down below. Paul and Ricochet both failed in their efforts to become Mr. Money in the Bank, as did LA Knight, who walked into London as the heavy favorite to win the coveted men's briefcase. That's why it came as such a surprise that Knight didn't win at Money in the Bank, and some have speculated that maybe WWE isn't as fond of the former Max Dupree as the fans are right now. When Ringside News asked about Knight's internal perception, they were told that everyone is aware that he's popular, but the source didn't share any plans for the popular superstar. Triple H himself is said to be quite the fan of LA Knight, which theoretically puts Knight in a good place among WWE's creative, of which the game is technically in charge. We say technically, as Triple H's views as head of creative can always be overruled by Vince McMahon, and it's the chairman who Knight will need to continue to impress. Whether a world title reign is in Knight's future, only time will tell, but do you think WWE made the wrong call by not giving him the win? And what would you like to see for Knight's future on TV? Despite coming up short at Money in the Bank, it may just be a matter of time before Knight holds a title in WWE, though it may not necessarily be a world championship. At a recent live event in Dublin, Ireland, US champion Austin Theory was able to retain against AJ Styles, continuing his title reign that began back in November of last year. Post-match, Theory was more than happy to celebrate his victory until he got leveled by Knight, who held up the US title after the attack. It's clear that WWE is teasing Knight going after the US title instead of a world championship, at least for the time being, and on social media, many fans made it clear that they want Knight to win. While addressing his loss at Money in the Bank, Knight has vowed to make himself a champion regardless of setbacks, and it could be the US title that's in the future of the popular superstar. In 2004, WWE introduced the controversial Muhammad Hassan character, who was disgusted by the way Arab Americans had been treated following the September 11th attacks. In July the next year, the character was quite literally killed off when the networks decided that Hassan was simply too difficult a character to work with, especially after one segment in particular. That segment saw masked men attack The Undertaker in a segment that aired the same day as a terrorist attack in London, which made headlines for WWE for all the wrong reasons. One of those masked men would be Mike Knox, and speaking to Wrestling News this week, Knox recalled how the attack ruined Hassan's career in the promotion. He said, "Wrong place, wrong time, brother. It was instant. It was like one of the next shows, I think, or maybe a couple of weeks later. We're gonna powerbomb this fool through the stage, and we're never gonna see him again. Thanks, Mr. Taker. It was too close to home, you know, like, too real." Given that SmackDowns weren't live at the time, WWE had the option to pull the segment after learning of the terrorist attack, and Knox suggested that they didn't because it was probably one of the highest rated shows that year. Since leaving wrestling, Hassan has worked in education, a role he remains in to this day, and while it's been years since his character was written off TV, odds are we won't ever see him return to the ring. Over to AEW now, as Thunder Rosa returned to TV shortly before the launch of Collision and was featured prominently in the promotional material for the show. Despite this, Rosa has yet to compete on Collision, and her most recent match was back in August of last year, and we now have an update on her condition. In her latest vlog, the former AEW Women's World Champion shared footage of her talk with AEW doctor Michael Sampson, who said that Rosa's recovery from injury is progressing well. Dr. Sampson added that within 4 to 6 weeks he will reevaluate Rosa's back and physical condition, so she won't be returning to the ring any sooner than that. While Thunder Rosa is eager to get back in the ring, right now her focus should be on her back and getting back to being 100% before she even thinks of competing against anyone on the roster. When Rosa began her hiatus from the ring, it was reported that she was dealing with a lot of heat backstage, but that she has made amends with several people on the roster. Whatever Rosa's future with AEW looks like, it won't begin until she's 100% and ready to return, and we're continuing to wish her the best in her recovery. At Money in the Bank, Drew McIntyre made his return to WWE programming and immediately set his sights on the reigning Intercontinental Champion Gunther. Given that Gunther has his Imperium allies by his side, McIntyre will need some teammates of his own to hold his own against the dominant Austrian, and that's exactly what he's going to get. According to sources within WWE, there have been talks of pairing McIntyre with Matt Riddle, as well as the returning Randy Orton, to take on Imperium on Raw. Orton's return was supposed to happen at Money in the Bank, but WWE held off on his comeback, believing that Drew would get the bigger reaction by returning in the UK. On social media, fans shared their delight at the possibility of Orton's return, with one saying the crowd will erupt if they hear his theme again, while another suggested the team name of RK McBro. It's been well over a year since Orton's most recent match, and his return has been rumored in the past, and do you like this idea for the Viper's comeback, or would you go in a different direction? Sound off in the comments down below. We've got news from AEW Fight Forever now, as the game has already been a hit with fans, and now a new mode is set to be introduced. On social media, a trailer for the new Stadium Stampede mode was revealed, a battle royal in an AEW setting, akin to popular online battle royal games, such as Fortnite. 30 players will meet in the stadium, but only one can be left standing, and while we don't know an exact date when this free update will be launched, fans can expect it very soon. And we're ending today with Elias, a superstar fans have not seen in quite some time, but he could be gearing up for an in-ring return. Taking to his Instagram stories this week, Elias shared a photo of himself working out, and he certainly looks jacked and ready to make his comeback to TV. Not only was Elias working out, but was working out alongside The Undertaker, and we can only imagine what kind of things the pair discussed during their training session. Elias was once one of the most popular WWE superstars on the roster, and the work by his brother Ezekiel was also entertaining, but Elias's momentum has cooled off considerably as of late. As for The Undertaker, his wrestling days are over, but he recognizes the importance of keeping in shape, and we'll just have to wait and see what's in store for Elias, if there's any plans at all.